Hi everyone, good morning and welcome to my channel. This is Elle, and in this podcast I sit down for 10 minutes or so, have my first cup of coffee for the day, and just clear some thoughts before I do pretty much anything else. So today I would like to read to you a quote that I saw on my Twitter feed earlier this morning. It said, "A home without books is a body without a soul." That was from Cicero. Is that how you read that? Is that how you read his name? I'm actually not sure. But yeah, he said, "A home without books is a body without a soul." And actually, it felt good to me because I have tons of books. I literally have more than I could read. But also, it made me think that it's kind of judgy, right? I mean, you can still have a soul, and by that I mean, what if you're not into books and what you collect are other things like records, music, even games or toys? That is the soul of your personality, that is your hobby, and that is what helps you. There are a lot of people I know who are not into books, but they are very interesting people and full of character and personality and all of that. So there's that. So this morning I made some tantan men for breakfast. Actually, I made it the other night, and I decided to heat up what was left of the soup and made a fresh batch of noodles, cooked a fresh batch of noodles, and I had that for breakfast. So I'm recording this post breakfast today because I was very hungry, and I also prepared some iced coffee to help me cool down. It's so hot where I am right now. It's too hot. I have two fans on and yet I am still sweating. It's that hot. But I guess it kind of makes sense. It's already the middle of March, and living in a tropical country that is located near the equator, it only makes sense that we get this amount of heat, especially this time of the year. So yeah, that aside, for today I'd like to talk about a book that I bought for a job that I did not keep. I actually don't know how many months I was there, but it was definitely less than a year. So I have mentioned this in passing in one of my previous episodes. It was a company that used NLP, neurolinguistic programming, for life coaching. That was what the company was mostly about, life coaching for professionals. Although when I applied for the job, I actually applied for a speech coach position. I wanted to I wanted another job. I was unhappy in my previous job, which I actually still am doing sort of. I was unhappy in my previous employment, and I wanted a different English teaching job, and that is why I applied there. However, because most half of the clients that the company receive are still seeking life coaching seminars and all of that, I had to undergo some training for that. I did a lot of research. We were a very small staff. When I first applied, there were four of us in the staff, and then there were three of us. So I had to be able to multi- teach most of the classes that was in our offerings. So I bought this book. It's called How Psychology Works. Basically, it summarizes a lot of psychological theories. I do have some psych background from my education course in college, but that's the most of it. So I decided that the best way to equip myself was to do more reading. I also downloaded and watched a bunch of life coaching and TED seminars, psych coaching uh, videos, seminars, and all of that about affirmation, the whole Tony Robbins kind of thing. I was listening to podcasts every time I was on the commute. Basically, I was trying to learn everything that I could about the job to help me prepare for any class that could be assigned to me. So yeah, but yeah, for the most part, I still handled the English classes, but I did prepare a number of courses for the other things that the company offered. So yeah. So this book, I actually did not finish this reading this book as I have mentioned. I did not keep that job because it wasn't what I was told it was going to be. So it did not meet the expectations that were set in my when I was first interviewed and hired, and I decided to move on and try to do something else. And since I mentioned the last employment that I was also unhappy with, I did leave that last year. Yeah, last year. And right now I am doing some freelance work where I look for my own clients. It's not going as well as I hoped, but we'll see if things turn around this summer. So yeah, let's take a sneak peek in this book. First chapter is What is Psychology? And it says there are many different approaches to psychology, the scientific study of the human mind, and how individuals behave. And to me, I think it's very interesting. Although I think psychology is both a soft science and a hard science, but mostly leaning towards the former. There are hard data in the field of psychology, but most of it is I don't want to say conjecture because it's still science, but the mind is an interesting thing, and behavior also is. And while it's hard to fully explain or predict or understand why we do the things that we do, it's interesting how a lot of human behavior is actually predictable and um, manipulatable. Yeah, a lot of human behavior can be manipulated. You know, there are a lot of psychological tricks that you could try and would work on people. Although I've actually never tried them, maybe I do sometimes subconsciously, especially when teaching kids, trying to understand what's going on with them and trying to adapt and adjust my approach so that I can get them to do the things that need to be accomplished within a specific time frame. So there's that. And talking about psychology, psychology has really developed over the years. Earliest written records would be from the ancient Greek philosophers, even Egyptian books or books, yeah, medical papyrus from ancient Egypt also mention depression, and that is something that is talked about a lot today. So it's not new, but it's good that there's less stigma these days, right? So yeah. So first it was a lot of philosophizing about behavior, and then as psychology developed as a formal discipline, a lot more science and applying of the scientific method, that is what I mean, is being applied to it. There is, so under psychology, there's psychoanalytical, behavioral, biological, neuropsychological, humanistic, and cognitive approaches. There are many different approaches, but the ones I'm mostly familiar with are the ones that have to do with teaching. That is what I learned in college because really, that's all I needed to learn as a teacher in training. Although I am interested in learning more about these things and just expanding my knowledge base because it's helpful knowledge. Um, it's research that's interesting to read, and research that you don't you don't know you'll need, but you will do at some point, someday, while you are trying to deal with other people. So yeah, there's that. So obviously 10 minutes is not enough to discuss this. However, as I delve into this book, I hope to talk more about this in some of my future episodes. So for today, I am dropping a secret phrase for a giveaway I am hosting in Twitter. And the secret phrase is Scenario update is tomorrow. Is everyone excited? Because I am. That's it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.